So, hello everyone. I will briefly speak about the guidelines for the correct installation mainly and the use of the smart wool. So I went to the second slide. I will start with the smart wool materials, elements and technical specifications. This system, it is a customized system. So the dimensions, its weight, the functionality that can have varies. And here you can see the main materials and elements that this system can integrate. I will start from the most exterior part of this prefabricated facade. Number one, that can be a paint, a commercial paint, or a functional paint, let's say a cool paint, a photocatalytic paint, etc. Then we go to the second layer, that is the mortar. Again, it is a commercial product. And then we have a cladding. And the cladding can be made of gypsum or timber or something else. And we continue with layers that offer some protection regarding the humidity or the acoustic insulation or the thermal insulation. So let's say number 4 can be a water-resistant air barrier membrane from the market again. We can have materials with acoustic insulation properties, and for sure we integrate thermal insulation materials. And this can be mineral wool, vacuum insulation panels, EPS, XPS, or any other material with thermal insulation properties. And of course, in most of the cases, such a system has to have a structural frame that can be made of steel, timber, or something else. So this is, let's say, the blank panel. In addition to that, we can have integrated a PV system or heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems. And finally, windows can be integrated, a toolbox where we put sensors, actuators, and the electrical parts, as well as a fire protection system can be also included in such a system. And all these elements are commercially available products. So the material dataset, the safety dataset is what the provider has. I will continue with the transportation requirements of this system. It is not something complicated, the transportation. And also it depends on the case. It depends on the units. For instance, on the first row, the case A, you can see that if we have light panels and panels with relatively small dimensions, then as you can see on the first row of the photos, each unit can be lifted by 1 or 2 people. No crane or lifting machine is required. Below, in case B, when we have heavy panels, then as you can see, we have to use lifting machines. In both cases, regarding the personal protective equipment, the people who undertake these activities should wear protective helmets, protective gloves for general construction works, and certified footwear for construction sites. Now, I will move to the installation steps. Again, it is something simple. It will be easy for a person who has experience in such systems to understand what it has to be done. So the first thing is that we place the smart wall unit on the existing wall in order to measure and to mark the points at which this system has to be anchored. You can see these two photos. So two people are needed in this case, one to hold the smart wall on the existing wall and another one that performs the measurements. No commercial materials are needed, and the equipment is just a tape measure in this step. And then once the smart wall is marked, we have to drill the smart wall on these marks until the drill will reach the existing wall, as you can see in the photos. And in this case, again, we need two persons, one that holds the smart wall and another who performs the drilling. And you just need an electric drill. The next step is to drill also the existing wall, as you can see in the photos. One person is needed in this case, and again, an electric drill is required. And the next step is that we have screws or wires that passes through the holes, the smart wall and the existing wall, and then you have to cut this wire or the screw on the right length and to put some screws and washers. So here you need one or two people. You need some wires or screws and electric metallic wire cutter in order to cut these metallic parts. The next step is that on the hole, on the existing wall, we have to insert chemical anchors. So here you need one person. You need to have the chemical anchors from the market, and no equipment is needed. And after that, you have to place the screw. So here you need again two persons, screws and an electric drill. Nothing complicated. And the gaps between the panels, if we are in this case, that we have multiple panels, one after the other, the gaps between the panels have to be sealed, let's say with a polyurethane foam or something similar. One person is needed. And another thing is that, as you saw in the previous slide, if it's not possible for us, and depending on the demo case, to cover the whole surface with only one smart wall unit, then after the installation of all the separate smart wall units, the final steps are to do the plastering, some sanding to make the surfaces even, and then place a final decorative coating. Regarding the use and maintenance, here I don't have a lot of things to say because this system is being used as a commercial ethics, and if it includes heating, ventilation and air conditioning systems or PVs, the use is exactly the same as we do with any other HVAC and PV systems. And regarding the disposal activities, as you saw, there is no waste that is being generated during the installation, except this last step that you do the plastering or some sanding and you apply the final paint. And in this case, you might have some small amounts of wastes coming from the plastering materials or the paint. So I think that was all from my side. Thank you very much.